video. So I know people are washing clothes right now, or there's probably some screaming kids outside because they're off on break. But either way, we'll get through this and try to get through all this news, especially with Chargers and football news and fantasy football stuff, because it's a lot to get to. And I might do like a separate video. I think I still will record it live because, once again, like I said, my phone is going off and not working well with the space capacity it has. So I think I can like record it live. So you'll be lucky and probably see my movie reactions that I've seen that I'm finally going to do all in one. And then I probably won't upload that till maybe Christmas Day. But if you're live here and you're a freak like me and you see it live, then you'll probably see my thing. But I'm going to hide it basically and let it publish a couple days from now. Even like another one about all the basketball teams too. I'm going to probably just do that right after this one live and not try to do like a whole half hour, if not longer, one video live for you to watch. So let's see how this Chargers one goes. So when it comes to them, yes, they defeated those Dallas Cowgirls 34-17 on the road. Justin Herbert had almost 80% completion percentage. He threw for 300, or actually he had 342 total yards. So that includes rushing and 3 total touchdowns as well. The Chargers record 11 plus wins in consecutive seasons for the third time in franchise history. And then they also recorded back-to-back 11 plus win seasons for the first time since 2006 and 2007. Yes, that's why it's a lot easier to be the edit in these videos when I F up. And then, yes, when it comes to game preview picks, they actually all picked the Chargers except one. So a lot of people thought that might have been like a bad omen for the Chargers going in, because usually when that happens, and the opposite usually ends up happening. But luckily, even with Maurice Jones-Drew picking the Chargers, they still got the victory. So I was surprised about that. But at least he's on the right path right now. Then when it comes to Quentin Johnston, yes, he's the first Charger with at least 8 receiving touchdowns in back-to-back seasons since Antonio Gates. And yeah, I'm still kind of waiting on him. I do believe he can be something of a good enough receiver. He obviously should not have been picked in that first round. I think around that time, I forget who was the other good receiver that came out at that time. Maybe it was Olave. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I had like Olave, even Zay Flowers a bit more, who has an up and down career right now with the Baltimore Ravens. But I liked a lot of other receivers compared to him. But either way, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it was Jackson Smith and Jigba at that time too. I probably liked him a bit more. Any of those Ohio State wide receivers recently have been on a nice tear in the NFL, so they would have been a better pick than this, in my opinion. But he's finally gotten up there. Yes, he has the touchdowns. Doesn't really have the receiving yards that you would like as one of your top main first round drafted receivers. But we'll see where he goes from here the rest of his career. I think he'll be going into his 4th year. So this summer they can extend that 5th year option on his rookie deal if they wanted to. It's going to be a little bit pricey, but if he's worth it, then they'll probably have to do it. And if he ends up playing worse, then they'll probably have to trade him away. But after that game against the Cowboys, the wild card picture, it looked like the Chargers were ahead of Buffalo. I think even though they have the same record, they're ahead of Buffalo because they have a better division record than Buffalo does. But even though they have a better division record, they're still behind the Broncos, like by a game or two. I think after this last Sunday, it was only a game because Denver lost, which is pretty nice. But we'll see what the Chargers can do. And I think if at least Denver loses this weekend again and the Chargers win, then they could be tied with the same record heading into that final week game against Denver. And that could be for all the marbles for first top overall thing too. So yeah, that could be a pretty epic final week 18 in the NFL for the Chargers. And yes, after that game, they did clinch the playoffs. I think it was after Monday night when the Colts lost to the 49ers. So they are officially in the playoffs, my Chargers. And yeah, just looking at the record, they won all those games. And then it was the Giants and Washington back-to-back games where they probably should have won both of those games. So they should be 13-2 and not have to deal with tying with Denver and stuff. But the Colts lost at the time, and even the Jaguars was kind of a little bit up in the air too. But either way, we'll take it for what it is right now. Surprisingly, back-to-back 11-win season. I think even when John Harbaugh has, in his 2nd year, his teams have won more than 11 games, made the playoffs. And I think his most recent one with the 49ers, they went all the way to the Super Bowl as well. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening in the AFC. And the Pro Bowl voting came out, and it looks like the kicker, Cameron Dicker, was named a Pro Bowl starter. So, yeah, he's had a heck of a career year this season. And then Justin Herbert was named one of the Pro Bowl quarterbacks on the AFC side. Derwin James Jr. was named a safety on the Pro Bowl side. Tuli Tuipulotu was named an outside linebacker for the Pro Bowl. And even Joe Alt was named one of the top offensive tackles, even though he went down pretty early in the season, and yet he still got those votes too. So, yeah, big congrats to those guys. Obviously, you don't want to see your guys playing in the Pro Bowl, which is a week right before the Super Bowl, because that usually means that they did not make it to the Super Bowl, which sucks. So, yeah, we'll see where that ends up going. And then Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman has been suspended the final 2 games of the season for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players, according to them. Yeah, I guess it was a pretty bad hit that he had in consecutive games, and yeah, they decided to suspend him, which sucks, but hopefully the Chargers have enough guys to help them out and back up. And when it comes to a lot of guys who I think they should look at when it comes to NFL draft prospects, Sierra Wright of Nebraska, he's a cornerback. He's an ex-USC guy, so obviously I know him pretty well. He did not play as well with USC, but once he went to Nebraska and just focused more on football, he became a lot better of a cornerback. So I kind of like him later in the draft. Another guy just looks like a big dude, an offensive tackle, Micah Patusi from Florida State. He looks like he's a pretty solid guy on the offensive line. Another guy, Iowa defensive back Xavier Nwankpa. Whenever you get those like Iowa defensive backs, they're always doing pretty good stuff. Cooper DeJean recently, even Riley Moss of the Denver Broncos, who I liked a couple years back. He's starting to play a little bit better for them. Another guy is a linebacker, Jack Golday. I know I put up Dingle the other week, but I couldn't remember if it was Golday or Dingle that I like from Cincinnati. But either way, one of those linebackers will do, in my opinion. A tight end and Josh Cuevas from Alabama. He's one of their top guys, so maybe the Chargers could add him later. Jalen Kilgore is, I believe, a cornerback from the Gamecocks in South Carolina. Yeah, a lot of these guys, I don't know exactly where they're going to be drafted either, so this could be all many places in the draft that these guys can go, so hopefully they will be available for the Chargers. Cassius Howe seems like he's a first-round guy, the defensive end from Texas A&M. Miami of Ohio linebacker Jackson Kuwach. He just looks like a big, thick dude out there at linebacker. Tyler Doty of Buffalo. He's an offensive lineman, but you can't really see him. Let me see if I can show you. He's like wearing a cowboy hat, but he plays in Buffalo. Like, that's just hilarious to me. So with that type of personality, I think they definitely need him on the offensive line. Gabriel Rubio, a Notre Dame defensive lineman. I don't really remember him. Obviously, being a USC fan, I don't remember playing against him as much or his name popping up. But a Notre Dame defensive lineman, I guess you can always trust, except who was that one guy we drafted in the first round? I already forgot his name. I disliked him so much. J.C. Davis looks like an offensive lineman from Illinois. I believe he plays tackle, but I think he's probably better suited to go on the interior. So a guy with flexibility, you can't be mad about that. Owen Heineke, I believe that's how you say his name. He's a linebacker from Oklahoma. Sion Sloan, I believe that is, North Carolina State Wolfpack linebacker. R. Mason Thomas is an edge from Oklahoma, who's a very fast guy, most likely going in the first round. They could target late there. Another guy, a safety from SMU, Ahmad Moses. Aiden Fisher, another Indiana linebacker they could look at. Dylan Wade, an Auburn offensive guard. Emil Wagner, Notre Dame offensive tackle. Riley Malman, a Wisconsin offensive tackle. You always got to trust those guys from Wisconsin. Caleb Elarms or a TCU. I think he was a linebacker. I could be wrong. But either way, yeah, a lot of those guys I like when it comes to the NFL draft. As far as prospects, I will do like a more full in-depth guys, even like round by round of who I like for the Chargers, like I always do on this channel. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that in the next couple of months to come. And when it comes to the fantasy football stuff, yes, it is the first week of the playoffs, and luckily in the league I care about more, I did get that victory. I already forgot what it was. I didn't even get it, but it won by like 50 points, which was nice. My top guy, Christian McCaffrey, had 29 points. RJ Harvey is a guy I picked up late, had 20 points. Jamar Chase, another guy, for some reason he was available late. I picked him up, 15 points, even my starting quarterback. CJ Stroud sucked really bad. He only had 15, and I think I had let go of Matthew Stafford before that Thursday night game, and he had like over 50 points in our fantasy league, so that was pretty dreadful to watch. But I trusted the Saints defense, and they got me 39 points against the Jets, so that helped out a lot. But of course, I'm playing against my younger sister, who had the highest scoring team at 167, and she had the best performing player in Puka Nakua with 55 points. But I'm still technically in first place, or I guess that's how the season ended. But I scored 164, so yeah, not that bad. So I'm kind of like right there with there. It's going to be a big time matchup for the championship this weekend coming up. In my other league, I did have Bo Nix getting over 61 points. Yeah, this league scores like really high points, so I wasn't mad about that. Chase Brown had 36. He was definitely like my top other player. Then my quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, had a little bit of a lower game at 21 points. Harold Fannin Jr., I trusted him here as a tight end, and he got me almost 20 points. So yeah, technically I was still in first place, but I did lose like last week, so I was technically out of like the top 4 in the playoffs, but I was the largest margin of victory when it comes to those teams last week. And I think I still have to play again for some reason, even though it's not for like a second or third place, but I don't know. I'll still try to beat somebody this week. And then when it comes to hockey, yeah, I sadly did lose. I think it was 380 something to 50 something. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough for you guys to see officially. And then, yeah, in the basketball, I did win 366 to 148. I believe I'm still, second place in both of these leagues, even though the hockey I lost last week as well, back-to-back losing weeks. I'm still second place in the NBA. Ended up getting that victory, 366 to 148. Playing very well. Obviously, it's a lot easier. The cheat code having Luka Doncic on there, and I'm a Laker fan, so it helps out even more that he's helping out my team in fantasy football. But yes, like I said, it's already like around 12 and a half minutes. It's going to be too long to read the basketball and even do like my movie review and stuff. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching this Chargers update. Yes, they clinched the playoffs. Great beating the Cowgirls as well. And yeah, a lot of Pro Bowl guys for their teams too. And yeah, I didn't do that bad in fantasy football, basketball. Hockey sucked, but yeah, other than those other two, I did pretty well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy your holidays. And yes, thank you. And the awkward moment of me turning off the video.